first thing we need to do is to prepare the Carilie or bitter melon. At the Asian market, this one was called, it's the rough skin version. I can't remember seeing this too much growing up in the Caribbean, but I'm sure it's there. Daddy always planted the sort of more smooth skin, lighter color green version of Carilie. We need to prepare it, and what I have gone ahead and done is I had 3 of these, so in total it was 2 pounds. So I'm just going to push that aside and show you what we're going to do. We're going to hit that to cut, and I'll show you a cross section here on the inside. And we need to remove the insides here to get it gone. You know, it's seeds and sort of membrane stuff around it. So all you would do is you take your finger and you would go around like so. Yeah, and we've done this before. And you would just push it all the way through. I know some of you saying, "Oh Lord, Ralph saying it too big to fit." All right, Ralph. But anyhow, we're gonna toss this out, and this is what we're gonna be left with. And the other thing you can do, you can, well, in this case here, there's nothing I can press, but I don't want to waste too much. I'm just gonna trim off the bottom part. That's gonna go into the rubbish. I'm gonna slice until I get to where there's too much core to include. And what you can do is using a paring knife, but you really got to be careful. So I would suggest don't do this if you're not comfortable using a paring knife. And you would go in and sort of in a circular motion go the circumference of the pit area, the sort of seed and white membrane area, and you would discard it. And then you would just slice it up. You know, I did it in rings because I saw it. That's the way I grew up watching mommy do it. And this is yet another dish that, while it's very healthy for you, and if you're diabetic, it helps to control or regulate your blood sugar and all that. I usually plant it during the summer months. Not for myself, because I still don't like it as an adult. But Daddy uses it quite a bit to make juice and tea and all those different things to help control his diabetes, which I should be doing because I'm diabetic as well, but I really like this. Now here's the thing, some of you is going to say, well Chris, how do we get rid of some of the bitterness? It is bitter. Bitter melon means it is bitter. But if you know it's bitter, why ask how to get rid of the bitter? That's part of eating Carilie or bitter melon, is the bitterness. What you can do, salt it, spread it out in paper towels. The salt will pull out some of the moisture from it, and in doing so remove some of the bitterness. But keep in mind, salt, high blood pressure, take your time. Anyhow, that's how you prepare it. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a rinse, and then we're gonna get to actual cooking. I've got 2 tablespoons of olive oil in my saucepan here, and right away I'm gonna go in. It's on a medium flame, so I know the pan is relatively warm. I'm gonna go in with all of the prepared Carilie in there, and you know, I'm doing this as sort of a reversed sort of way, because typically how, you know, in the older recipes, the older recipe that I shared with you all, we started with the garlic and the onion and peppers and stuff like that to flavor the oil, and then we added the main ingredient, which is the Carilie. In this case here, we're doing things a little bit differently. We're doing it in reverse. So we have the Carilie in there. In goes a ton of garlic. So that was 2 pounds of Carilie, 8 cloves of garlic. I'm just going to hit that a quick stir, medium flame. And I do hope you all are enjoying this vegan/vegetarian series that we're doing here as we get closer and closer to Diwali. As mentioned in previous episodes, I think this is going to be episode 4. I did not grow up in a Hindu home, but I did celebrate and participate around Diwali time at relatives' homes in the small village of Warakara, where I grew up. You know, I'm Catholic, I'm Roman Catholic, so, but however, whenever it was Diwali time, as a means of paying respect to not just the holiday, but to the homes where we were invited, Mommy would always make sure we didn't eat meat, which back then it was called fasting, which means no meat. I'm going in with salt, so that was black pepper and salt, just a little bit more. just to pay, you know, respect to the homes that we were going, because it is a fully vegan, vegetarian sort of menu whenever you would go to anyone's home, and it was something that there was no meat eating involved, right? So yeah, long story short, we didn't eat meat for a couple days before we went to where we were invited. So 2 pounds of the Carilie. I added 3 bird's eye pepper in there that I chopped in half. The garlic that went in, the salt, the black pepper. I want some Caribbean green seasoning, so that's just a teaspoon of Caribbean green seasoning. If you're new to Caribbean cooking, Caribbean green seasoning is merely or simply, without trying to be too simple, it is because it has a ton of flavor, a lot of stuff happening in that green seasoning there. A whole bunch of herbs. I've got seasoning peppers in there, garlic, my base is olive oil, and it puts it all together, and just about everything we cook in the Caribbean we have used for that. Just gonna hit that to stir, and you cannot do a masala Carilie without masala, and that is what I have here. If you cannot source it, head over to your favorite Caribbean grocery store, maybe try caribshopper.com. I don't know the other online Caribbean grocery stores, but I have my ground masala here. No, I didn't make it, I bought it, and I'm gonna go in with that now. Just gonna hit that masala in there. I want about 2 tablespoons of that in there, and it has a lovely earthy flavor from, I would think there's quite a bit of ground roasted jeera, or what most people call cumin, in it. Just gonna hit that another quick stir. Now if all fails, you can use curry powder, but I'm telling you that ground masala there, that is proper things, yeah? To help with a bit of the bitterness. Yeah, I'm gonna sort some of you out who are overly concerned about the bitterness. Add a diced tomato to there. The acidity will help bring balance. We talk about balance to the force, yeah? Anyhow, what I'm gonna do is turn my heat down to medium low, and I'm gonna put the lid on it, because it is important that we not only allow the spices which makes up that curry powder to, gently cook and release all those flavors. We need to sort of steam saute this, and in doing so, it will get nice and tender and take in all of those lovely flavors. So on goes the lid. We have a little splatter happening there, and I'm going to turn my heat down and let that go. Now I said if you can't find the ground masala, you can use curry powder. Now if garam masala is one of your favorite things, I added 2 tablespoons of water in there just to soften it up a little bit, in case if you're wondering. You've seen the liquid on the bottom down there. Just a couple tablespoons of water. Garam masala, yeah, if you wanted to use garam masala, by all means, rock that garam masala, but I'm telling you, that ground masala from the Caribbean, love it. That steam saute action is brilliant. Gonna hit that a final little stir here, and when I say final, it is because you have the option now of personalizing this in a couple of ways. 1, taste it for salt and adjust the salt accordingly. And 2, verify if the sort of doneness or texture of it is to your liking. Chris here, Caribbean Pot. I'm going to turn off the stove. Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure having you guys here in the kitchen with me. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me. Email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie? Irie. I do hope you get an opportunity to give this recipe a try. As I said, it's very healthy for you. Minus the oil, you can use a non-stick pan and cut back on the amount of oil that you use. Masala Carilie or bitter melon. Looking good, eh? Just look at that now. I'm telling you, boy, this Diwali series here, these vegans and vegetarians and everybody else, enjoying this out. If you like the series, drop a comment down below. Maybe I'll do a Christmas series. Who knows? Who knows? Irie? Irie. Hmm?